something that's pretty new, just been introduced maybe in the past 15 years on what personal branding is. And I'll go off into a little bit more of a definition. But major companies have easily recognizable brands. And it's not tangible, but it's the value that they bring to the industry, right? So we got 3 companies here that are very well. They do very well at branding themselves. We've got Apple, cutting edge technology. It's simple. McDonald's, fast food and value. And then we have Nike, the latest in sports technology. Those are 3 companies, and there's so many of them that have done well in branding themselves. All right, personal branding. What is that? All right, personal branding is applying the same thought to yourself as an individual as major companies. What value do you bring to the world? And how do you communicate that value? Personal branding is nothing new, like I said. People, whether we like them or not, what is this right here? My computer's trying to update. People, whether we like them or not, have unknowingly branded themselves from the beginning of time. Some examples, Socrates. When you think about Socrates, what are some names or some adjectives that come off the top of your head? Socrates. Philosophical. Smart. Anything else for Socrates? All right, what about Martin Luther King Jr.? Peace. Civil rights. Martha Stewart, whether it's good or bad. What's the first thought that comes off the top of your head? Homemaking. Cooking.
Jail.
Jail. Right. She was known for that for a while. She was known for that. Going back to the definition of personal brand, it first appeared in 1997 in an article by management guru and author Tom Peters, and I believe he was the editor for a magazine called Fast Company. And he said, we are the CEOs of our own companies, right? Me Incorporated. To be in business today, our most important job is to be the head marketer for the brand called you. Okay, so right now, even with what we have on, our hair, our nails, everything we have communicates a brand. All right, what you wear, how you look, your speech patterns, your walk, your demeanor, all of that tells people it tells people who you are. And today I will convince you to consider the benefit of a more focused brand and to hopefully help you to achieve a desired personal or professional income. Personal or professional outcome. We want income too, though.
Right.
Outcomes, such as better paying jobs, to be recognized more on the job, a different career path, becoming self-employed, pennies for your passion, which was more dollars but pennies for your passion, that sounded so cute. Growing your business or expanding outward, not necessarily vertically. And what we need to know first about branding is your brand is what others know, think, or feel. It is not about how you feel about yourself. We're always putting out energy all the time. And so your brand is not how you feel about yourself. I can be the cutest thing in the world, but somebody else look at me and say, ooh, she is not cute. And that's the brand that I have given them, whether I had anything to do with it or not. And that's the brand that they have seen on me. So what we want to try to do in branding, or in branding ourselves, is to just try to control what people think about us, just from the outside. Just from the outside and what we put out there, because they're going to think something about you anyway. So you might as well give them something good to think about, right? Right, it's a touchy-feely subject, especially for African-American sisters, because we like to tell it like it is. We like to be who we be, we like to, I don't care, but that's not always the attitude that we want to have. Right. Not always the attitude we need to have. Whew, Jesus Christ. All right, you communicate to people how you feel about you, what to think about you. All right, you rarely get a second chance to make a first impression. Rarely. I mean, absolutely. You can meet somebody one day and they see you in a bad light. You might not see them for 15, 20 years. But they're going to remember how you were when they met you, right? Right? And so hopefully the next time you see them, you got it together. You put it together a little bit and it's a little bit better for you. And it's not about being perfect or absolute. It's not at all. But it's simply creating a story for yourself. All right, common branding instruments. And this is what the majority of people exercise. We exercise our style and dress, that's a brand. Your conversational tone, are you dry, are you lively, are you compassionate? Are you just like, how you doing? Yeah, I'm fine, all right. All right, that is a brand. You're communicating that to other people. Your facial expressions, your social media presence, your overall social tone. Are you uplifting? Are you positive? Or are you petty? We know we have Facebook friends who it seems like every time they post something, it's just, woo-wee. Just like, oh, she just hurt me to herself. You know. Oh my goodness. We all have that. But and social media today is your top way of branding yourself. It's your top instrument. I mean, it's everywhere, not just Facebook. You have LinkedIn, you have Twitter, you have Pinterest, you have, so what else do we have? Instagram, Vine. Yes, there's so many ways to brand yourself. And so everybody, an 11-year-old can have a Facebook page and she has branded herself. And unfortunately, once it's online, it does not go away. It does not go away. I have, and y'all saw me if y'all got stories, because I got a lot of stories. But I work at the University of Memphis in the administrative office for the Department of Social Work. So when I get ready to hire a student and I get all my resumes in, the first thing I do is I search them on Facebook. Yeah. That's the very first thing. And I cut out, I remember last year in your class, I had maybe 75 applicants because they told us we had to put it online because we had to be fair for all the students. I said, man, I don't want to do that. 75 applicants, and I think I cut out maybe 50 of them just from looking on their Facebook page. And I didn't even have to go far, in their history just to tell who they were. So that does not go away. Whatever you put out there does not go away. Yes. It's not about who they are now, but it's about who they're going to be in the future. Even when you look at people who run for politicians, when they run for an office, they might have put something out 25 years ago, and it's going to come out because there are people who are hired just to search their history. So we really have to be careful what we put out there on social media. Know what to share and what to keep to yourself. Again, going back to this. What will make that status? Oh yeah. I think we all have friends that do that, but that's all right. Those are probably people who maybe don't want to go far in life. Maybe they have a plateau that they're coming upon, and they just don't have anything else to say. Who knows? So what we want to share is anything dealing with our interests and our passions, even if it's a new study that came out. Maybe you do hair, and there was a study that came out that we shouldn't be coloring our hair. I don't know. Whether we believe it to be true or not, you just want to let people know that you up on top of what's interesting you, right? You up on top of it. I'm up on top of fashion, so if I see somebody with some real cool fashion, they could be my competition. I don't care. I'm going to share. If they got something going on, I'm going to share it. Because I want everybody to know that I'm not just on Facebook just to be myself. I'm on Facebook because I'm selling a brand right here. My brand is fashion. My brand is styling. So mostly everything I put up is fashion and styling on my Facebook page. You want to share breaking news in your industry. You want to share uncommon events. So we have a lot of those in the city. If you're really not connected to people. Anybody here not from Memphis? Where y'all from? Jackson, Mississippi? Tennessee, cool. Well, in Memphis, we have, maybe over the past 2 years, we've had a lot of just uncommon events pop up. I mean, things like coffee talks or maybe book signings or, just different artists who come through, and maybe we have some small restaurants opening up. Like I went to Tanya Dyson, she had an event at this restaurant called Modern Eds, and it was my first time going. It was so nice. We have a playwright in the back, and she had an awesome play, maybe about a month or so ago.
It was amazing.
Right. Yeah. 5 or 6 years ago, we didn't have all these kind of things. So if you see something that's within your industry, within your life, within your whatever you aspire to do, share it so people can go ahead and get an idea of who you are, especially if you have your own business. Share your competitors event, I already said that. No, cussing is a no-no, of course we know that. Unless it's something you feel really strongly about. I don't cuss. So if it comes out my mouth, as a matter of fact, my daughter is 11, and I tell her, I said, Madison, you make me so mad, I think I'm about to cuss. That's when you know it's serious. That's when she knows it's serious. That's funny. But, okay. But just for me, it's a no-no, because 10 years from now, if I want to be about that. Maybe think twice. And then, of course, talking about or belittling people. There's a professional way to talk about people. You can word your statuses in a way where people be like, whatever, and they'll be like, oh, okay, right, she's right. And we're going to take the generalist approach when we brand ourselves. We know the difference between like a general practitioner and a specialist. A generalist kind of knows a little bit about everything, but a specialist only specializes in one area. So we're going to take the generalist approach, which means that most of us are good at more than one thing. Am I right? Mm-hmm. Okay, somebody tell me, if you have a passion that you may not be getting paid for, or you may be getting paid for, but you work in an industry that has nothing to do with your passion, and then there's something else you'd like to do, share that with us. Yes, ma'am.
I work in banking, and my passion is natural hair.
Okay.
And what was the other one?
What's your passion? Anything else that interests you outside of working in the banking?
Permanent house.
Really? So happy. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
I'm a hairstylist, but my passion is singing.
Oh. Do you consider yourself to brand? Do you brand yourself?
I do.
As such? Okay.
Yes, I do comedy, and I do cuss. I tell people, look, I had two choices. It was either crack or cussing, and cussing is more fundamental.
Okay.
So I got to learn. So I say it just depends. I was growing up in the church. And I heard this girl cuss one day, and I said, "Oh my God, you said a cuss word?" She said, "Girl, I'm grown." I said, "Well, shit." See? So that's how that went down.
And I guess I don't cuss because I grew up, my mom and dad are total opposites. Like my mom grew up in the church, she's real, she go to church every Sunday, every Tuesday, Wednesday.
Right, that was my mom.
Right.
They probably cloned her.
And in the background, she got all these spiritual books.
That's right.
My dad.
Sailor.
That's right.
Navy SEAL.
Right. And so whenever they used to have car parties all the time. And that's when I remember the most cussing going on in the house. Car parties, smoke, and WDIA on the radio. But we were all in the back, so they turned the radio up real loud. So I really wasn't exposed to that.
I was probably there. I understand that.
You might be. So I had like a decibel grid. I just try not to go to that other word.
Right.
Some of us are prolific writers, soulful singers, organizers, and strong administrators. And I take myself as an example for that because I have an administrative background. I've been working in administrative positions for about 12 years. I just so happen to like styling and jewelry, so I branched off into that. And I love to write, so I'm starting to branch myself off into that. And so that's what all you will see on my Facebook page. You might see quotes that I've come up with. You might see me posting a picture of somebody with some fly style. I'll post events going on in the city because I need people to know that I'm cultured, I'm not closed-minded. So I post things that relate who I am, right? So package and brand them all. Stick to no more than 3 because you don't want to see them all over the place. I know we have people, we know people who are all over the place. And it's really, it's hard because we're living in an era now where we are encouraged to explore so many new things. And sometimes we can explore so much that we really never get to the root of who we are and what we like. Oh, yes. Jesus. And I myself was one of those. I was like, ooh, I want to do this, I want to do that. I want to open me up a business, which I did, thank you, Jesus. I want to sing, I want to get out there and sing. But I was never good enough. I never got to a place where I felt like I was good enough at doing everything. So I had to slow myself down and say, Kim, you need to pick a few and roll with those. You can learn all you can, and then when you feel like you've done your best, then you just go on to something else. Okay, here are more focused branding instruments that we may not, some of us may not consider. Personal websites. A personal website can include anything from your CV or your resume. It can include everything you've done. If you are in a position where you know you want to grow, it's not bad. It's not a bad idea to go ahead and get your personal website. And I think I've heard there's a website. I think think it's called mycv.com or something similar to that, where you can just make your resume look real, fancy. So when you give people a card or something, they can see, even though you may not have a professional business or you may not do this, they can get an idea of who you are. Of course, our resume. If you Google, I love Google so much. You can find anything you need to find out on Google. Oh, you can make up yourself on Google. You can make yourself all the way up. A personal card. Even if you do not have a business, you need a personal card. You need one with just your telephone number and your email address. That's all it needs. I don't care what you do. Everybody needs a personal card. And it just needs to link back to your, if you don't have a website, it just needs to list who you are and make it what you're about. Kimberly Brown, administrative professional styling, here you go. Professional sites like LinkedIn, and we talked about some of those. And networking events have become popular, especially in the city over the past maybe year and a half, where you can go and just meet people doing interesting things in the city. No one will. Okay, remember, you do not have to be the best at what you do, but you've got to figure out what makes you different than what you do. I want to go around the room. Yes, I do. And I want to ask everybody what you do. Can I do that? Can I do that? Oh, we are asking. But tell us again. Stand up and introduce yourself.
We gotta stand up.
Yeah. You don't have to. You don't have to. Unless you want to. I ain't gonna make y'all do that. Make us stand up. She want to say stand up.
Hi, my name is Tanya. I'm a telesupervisor at the bank. Been there for years. Getting tired of it.
All right. Well, you ready to bring yourself on. And what do you want to do? You want to get off into natural hair? Okay. So do you have your Facebook page? Okay. Get your styles up on your Facebook page. People go to it, because I had somebody call me today, ask me if I made tiaras. Out the blue. No, I made tiaras. I tell you somebody who do, but they got my name from somebody, and I'm glad they passed my name along, so they could have went on my Facebook page and saw some jewelry. And I'm glad they called me, because I could have used the money if I did. I don't, but yeah. So yeah, get your styles up on your page. Put it out there. Don't be ashamed. Do not be ashamed. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Chris. I work for Best Buy. I am SWAT. It's not all cool like it sounds. It's just inventory. I want to do real estate.
Oh, okay.
Commercial and then residential.
All right. So are you in class? Are you in school
I'm in
now?
class right now, learning girl.
Okay.
First step.
Okay. Awesome. Have you put out feelers out there to let your
Well, I
Facebook
talked to
people
a
and your
few
people?
people, and I'm going to school next
Okay.
year, and so I'm really gonna hone it in.
Okay, cool. Well, it doesn't hurt to go ahead and look up what's going on in the real estate industry and just start posting it on your Facebook page. Like, ooh, this cool. Share a news story about real estate.
Never thought about it like
Do it, honey. Do it. Because not only do you learn for yourself from reading those articles, you're letting everybody know. Okay, she's gonna be the go-to for real estate. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Jaquay. I'm a natural hair blogger and vlogger, and I'm also owner of Leadership Institute for Transformation and Empowerment. I own it with my husband, and what we do is we are life mentors / life coaches and spiritual mentors. We help you get all your junk out of the way and stay focused on your goals that you want for yourself and to get them done.
All right.
You got cards? So y'all have a website and
Yes, I have a website, I have a blog, I have Facebook, I got everything. You can find me everywhere.
A blog is cool. If y'all don't have a blog, even if you just got like 2 cents to put in on anything, get you a blog. I am not playing. Blog. Yes, ma'am.
Hello, my name is Evangela Haley. I currently work for Toyota Manufacturing Company as a team leader. It's a job that I don't like, but it needs to be paid. I'm the graphic designer for her business. I also I have my own website. I'm on WordPress.com doing the Facebook thing. I love to design pretty
inside job in corporate America, because I know that I'm really called to mentor teens. So when she said the life coach thing, I know that I'm called to be like a life coach for teenage girls.
Ooh. Oh, yeah. Y'all can ask.
My name is Cassandra Hill. I'm a gerontologist. I work with the senior population and I help seniors age in place. Most of the seniors I work with have some form of dementia, and just enabling them to stay in the community versus entering a facility. Next year I'm looking to branch out and do more retirement counseling to help people in our age group be financially secure when they reach retirement instead of
just getting there and being
just dependent on social security, which might not even be around when we get to that point. But yeah, that's what I do, and that's my passion.
Everybody party.
Yeah, we're gonna have time for that to exchange cards and everything.
Good afternoon, I'm Giovanni Dorj. I'm a professor and I'm also the owner of Zenzile's Way Communications, where I provide coaching, wellness counseling, speaking, writing, and editing. And I also do a little bit of business consulting for Legends Press Comics and Harkins House Productions. And this is my mother, who will be not introducing herself, but she does a little bit of my administrative.
Okay.